Published 12:53 EDT, the 20th of August 2017. Updated 14:02 EDT, the 20th of August 2017. One thing is for certain. When it is Chelsea's turn to make Wembley their temporary home, the National Stadium will hold no demons. This was their 9th win here in 11 visits, an incredible victory against the odds, forged by a starting 11 with only 2 recognized attacking players, the magnificent Willian and Alvaro Morata. What a triumph it was for the organizational skills of Antonio Conte, too. After last week's home defeat by Burnley, there were fears this could be a day of reckoning for the champions. Instead, it was a win that demonstrates just what strength they possess. Players that gave their all, a manager who never stopped demanding, cajoling, arranging, scheming. Marcos Alonso fires the ball underneath Hugo Lloris to give Chelsea a dramatic late win over Tottenham. Alonso celebrates after firing a late winner underneath the body of Tottenham goalkeeper Lloris. Antonio Conte leaps for joy after the Blues won Sunday's London derby in dramatic circumstances. Michy Batshuayi heads beyond the outstretched glove of Thibaut Courtois and into the back of his own net. The Belgian striker is consoled by David Luiz after his error looked to have earned Tottenham a point. Alonso watches his free kick nestle into the back of the net and beyond the reach of Tottenham's Lloris despairing dive isn't enough to prevent Alonso from putting Chelsea ahead against Tottenham. Alonso wheels away after giving Chelsea the lead with a magnificent free kick in the 24th minute of the game. The Chelsea players embraced the Spanish left-back after his sweetly struck free kick flew into the top corner. Nobody would say it was a wholly deserved 3 points, given Tottenham's dominance for long periods, but it was damned impressive nonetheless. Chelsea led despite a lengthy onslaught by Tottenham, looked to have surrendered 2 points late to a Michy Batshuayi own goal, and then, with 2 minutes remaining, won it again. That man Alonso once more. What an underrated talent he is. For Tottenham, this was more drama than crisis, but the speed with which many here headed towards the exits after the second went in suggested trauma. Yes, they were unlucky, but how many times was that said as they crashed out of the Champions League in the group stage last season? With Wembley as home, they cannot continue dominating teams here, and losing. In the circumstances, then, this was more than just a win for Chelsea. They inflicted psychological trauma on a title rival too. That said, no stadium ever lost a football match. In the end, Chelsea conceded 2 goals because Dele Alli rashly fouled David Luiz in a dangerous area, and then Moussa Sissoko was caught in possession by the same man for the second. That isn't down to Wembley. That's on Alli and Sissoko. Just as it was on Batshuayi that Tottenham equalized with 8 minutes remaining. There looked to be only one winner when that goal went in, but it wasn't the team that eventually won. That's not Wembley's fault, either. So credit to Conte who, at the end of what has been a difficult week, showed why he deserves to be nurtured rather than further alienated by his employers. This was a fine win for old-fashioned coaching. For setting out a team in adversity and emerging victorious, Alvaro Morata found himself with a free header inside the penalty area but could only direct it wide. The Spanish striker realizes he should have done better and given the Premier League champions an early lead. Tottenham midfielder Victor Wanyama looks to pinch the ball from Chelsea winger Willian in the early stages. Luiz and Dele Alli come together as they battle for the ball during the early stages at Wembley on Sunday. Tottenham midfielder Moussa Dembélé challenges for a loose ball with Chelsea's Victor Moses. Dembélé goes to ground while Moses and Timo Bakayoko look to nick the ball away from him. Dembélé and Bakayoko grapple with each other as they look to gain control of the midfield battle. Dembélé watches as his fiercely struck long-range shot is tipped over the bar by Thibaut Courtois. Chelsea lost the corner count 143. Goal attempts 1810, possession 6,832% and passes made 591,282. Yet they were never behind, always in the game, still dangerous on the counter-attack and had 2 other chances as good as anything Tottenham created. Willian, arguably the man of the match for his insatiable work rate, despite Alonso's heroics, hit it post after 73 minutes, while Morata missed an absolute sitter of a header after 5. Although Tottenham were on top, it would be wrong to say Chelsea offered nothing. And what if Alonso? One of the biggest mysteries of the summer transfer window, and there have been a few, is the persistent rumor that Chelsea are looking for a stellar left-wing back to relegate him to a supporting role. Danny Rose, of Tottenham, has been mentioned. Why Alonso is as good, if not better. He has been a vital performer for Chelsea since arriving less than a year ago. He defends very well, he gets forward impressively, he has excellent stamina and, best of all, he scores important goals. In Chelsea's title-winning season he chipped in with the first 2 in a 30-win at Leicester, the opener in a 31 win against Arsenal, and the second in the 50 rout of Everton. That was perhaps the standout display of the campaign. Here, he silenced a home crowd of more than 70,000 twice. A number of seats in the top-tier stands at Wembley were left empty for security reasons on Sunday afternoon. Harry Kane shoots wide as the home side go close to opening the scoring in a tight opening at Wembley. Tottenham star Dele Alli attempts to dribble between two challenges from Alonso and Andreas Christensen. Luis is shown a yellow card by referee Anthony Taylor during a fiery opening 45 minutes on Sunday. Eric Dier is shown a yellow card as Moses checks up on Luis after a strong tackle from the Spurs midfielder. Courtois breathes a sigh of relief as he watches Kane's shot cannon off the foot of the post. During the first half, missing key forward players, Chelsea's chances were always going to be limited. So when Alli fouled Luis outside the penalty area, it represented a rare opportunity for an understrength side to make an impact. Alonso took it, and magnificently. Most would have expected Luis to deliver the kick, but it was Alonso, coming in almost square from the right to strike the ball with his left foot, up and over the Tottenham wall, curling out of the reach of Hugo Lloris, despite his best efforts. Short-term, the result was to jolt Tottenham into a response, and for the next hour they placed Chelsea under immense pressure. Harry Kane hit a post, and Alli, Christian Eriksen, Moussa Dembélé and Eric Dier all came close, yet in the second half they had more possession than outright opportunity. In many ways, Chelsea were perfectly set up to absorb it all. They had two wing-backs, three centre-halves and a midfield trio, comprising Luis, N'Golo Kanté and Timo Bakayoko. Tottenham couldn't break through, and, ultimately, only a Chelsea mistake got them back in the game. The last meaningful goal Batshuayi scored for Chelsea won the league. This one will be long remembered, too, but for rather different reasons. Kanté was attempting to shore up 3 unlikely points when he introduced Batshuayi for the tiring Morata. Both sets of players watch on anxiously as the ball squirts loose and wide of Courtois' far post. Morata sticks his right foot out to control the ball and backs into Spurs defender Toby Alderweireld. Chelsea midfielder N'Golo Kanté stretches out his left leg in an effort to dispossess opposite number Victor Wanyama. Chelsea forward Willian falls to the ground as Tottenham defender Jan Vertonghen takes the ball off him. Jan Vertonghen gets down early to block Chelsea striker Morata's shot on goal. In the second half, Willian crashes a long-range effort against the foot of the post as the Blues came close to doubling their advantage. The two opposing managers, Mauricio Pochettino and Antonio Conte, embraced before the start of play on Sunday. His first touch kicked the ball out for a throw-in. His second headed it past Thibaut Courtois from an Eriksen free kick. At that point, the momentum was with Tottenham. They now had 8 minutes, plus injury time, to finish the job. Instead, opposite, Lloris threw the ball out in the hope of starting a quick counter-attack, and Moussa Sissoko, another substitute not exactly doing the job the manager asked of him, lost it in midfield to Luis. He fed Pedro on the left, who slipped it inside to Alonso, still with the legs to Morata into the Tottenham penalty area, and not a hair out of place. His shot was low and straight, and Lloris should have captured it. Instead, squirmed under his body. On the bench, Conte jumped deliriously into the arms of his assistants. One day they're not going to be ready for that. Scenes. The Chelsea of old, some will say, although in this case old means last May. That's how quickly things can change around Stamford Bridge. This was the Tottenham of old at Wembley, too. Although that, sadly, will be no comfort at all. A pitchside sign welcomes supporters to Tottenham's new home for the duration of the 201,718 season. Supporters make their way down Wembley Way for the first Premier League match staged at the National Stadium. Spurs will play all their home matches at the 90,000-seater stadium as construction continues on White Hart Lane.